This Cookout 400 DFS Picks and bonus IndyCar edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Kalshi. Make real money predicting sports. Kalshi is available in a ton of states, and you get $10 free with promo code SGPN. That's Kalshi. Promo code SGPN.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome into another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez. Welcome to your Thursday or Friday, or hopefully you listen to this before the race, but welcome to your day. Of course, we are here today to talk about the Cookout 400 rather at Martinsville and from the DFS specifically portion of this and Cody, because we can't get enough racing, as we were told yesterday, we're crazy. We're going to break down some IndyCar as well, as we tend to do on days when there's all four series in action.
That's right. Yeah. Got to love it. IndyCar action. They're headed to their first road course, true road course of the year. They've had a couple of street courses and an oval, of course. But yeah, looking forward to that. And of course, Martinsville going to be exciting. DFS points rack up quickly, 400 laps. That's 400 laps led. That's 400 fast laps. You want to hit the right guys this weekend because, oh boy, you can score some points or really be far behind if you don't.
Yeah, we've seen obviously some serious laps led around this track, and we'll talk about pretty much who were the dominant cars over the last couple of seasons in terms of laps led. But yeah, this is going to be one where, a couple like road courses like Coda, you get points, right? But you just don't get the amount of points that you can get from leading laps and having fast laps. It's absolutely fun DFS wise. Plus, it's also frustrating DFS wise because it's a short track.
Both sides of the thing, right? But yeah, you look at a place like Coda, there's only 95 laps or whatever it is. That's 95 laps led points, and that's 95 fastest lap points. But so you're getting 4 times plus that this weekend with it being 400 laps. So definitely comes into play here. Chat's popping already, Rod. Marcus checking in, says hello, Marcus. Stephen Harvey checking in. I haven't seen you in a little while, Stephen. Good to see you back. He says hi, and hi to Marcus. That's right. Marcus, of course, on some Christopher Bell. Stephen will co-sign that, and Stephen says he's going to Martinsville this weekend. Let's go. That's exciting, Stephen. That's gonna be an awesome time. He says he loves the podcast. We appreciate that. Denny Hamlin, Stephen. That's who you should pick. It's Denny.
Just
Hamlin.
cheer for a good race. That's all you should be doing. I wish we could have gotten Steven some stickers, Cody. That's always fun to watch the NASCAR Gambling Podcast stickers get tossed about at races. We have to figure that out.
Yeah, we need to get some more stickers made, I think is the current issue, but I'll get on that.
Yeah, so there you go, folks. If you want to start tossing out some NASCAR Gambling Podcast stickers at the next race you go to, let us know and we'll figure out how to make that happen for you, because we've seen some in some pretty cool places. As we
absolutely.
All right. Hey, listen, before we get too much farther into this, we want to tell you that baseball is back. According to some, Baseball is back. I've already written off baseball for the year after 2 innings of watching the opening game. So, but baseball is back, and so is the MLB Gambling Podcast, Daily Picks, and the podcast breaking it down. All that MLB action going on. Get in on the SGPN app or wherever you get your podcasts, just like this one. All right, Cody. Well, so as far as news is concerned, I did see that the NASCAR drama is still going on, and it's just, I thought we were done with this, man.
Yeah, this one's less exciting to me than the other one. I don't know. I don't think it has as big of an impact. I mean, Chris Gabehart's obviously an important piece for both of these teams, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'll be honest. I've kept up much less on this one. It's mostly just they've been arguing each side's case so far, which we kind of already knew what it was. I don't think there's been anything like groundbreaking that's come out. JGR says, well, Spire, enticed him or paid him to steal their stuff. And Spire says, you can't prove we did that. And so, yeah, it's just back and forth, but I don't know. I'm sort of bored by this lawsuit, to be honest.
And honestly, for me, it just goes to show, and they said, why the latest that I just saw, they're like, well, they took our templates and they switched it. I'm like, man, have you seen some people when they go to another site and it looks exactly like the site? I mean, until they get their own feel for their own, right? I mean, of course people are going to take ideas from other places and use them in other places. This is not a world where there's a lot of innovation anymore. It's all just, what do we do here and what worked and what can we take over there?
Well, and he had a lot of success at JGR, so probably the reason Spire wanted to hire him is that. So, yeah, that's what it is. Wreck-It Ross setting it up perfectly for me. I was going to ask, Rod, the Hall of Fame debate rages on after, if you've not listened to the Dale Jr. download, Travis Rockhold over there, one of the producers, they were having a Hall of Fame conversation, and it kind of, he's like, I don't think that O'Reilly, Xfinity, Busch Series guys should be in the Hall of Fame. Truck Series guys shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. That sparked an entire debate. Now we're hearing from everybody. Wreck-It Ross wants to know if NASCAR Gambling Podcast, first ballot podcast Hall of Fame. I think we're a little still early in the career. I mean, I know we're 700 and some episodes into this. But yeah, I feel like we're on track to potentially have a Hall of Fame career, Rod. But what's your thoughts on, so I guess the main question that's come up from this is, it's the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Do O'Reilly, Truck Series, lower series that are NASCAR series belong in the Hall of Fame next to Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt?
Do those series fall under the banner of the NASCAR brand? Yes or no?
Yes.
Then there's no debate. Like, it's the NASCAR Hall of Fame. That doesn't mean the NASCAR, like, and I just saw, I think Gluck said it or somebody said it. It does not mean the NASCAR Cup Series Hall of Fame. It's just the NASCAR Hall. And I'll go one further, right? I'm a big wrestling fan. You know this, right? They're inducting Dennis Rodman into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Wrestling is kind of a joke anyways.
So. There's an entire subculture that would tend to argue with you on that one. But no, the thing is that these guys, like, when they're talking about their brand, right? Dennis Rodman was pretty much WCW too. He had a lot to do with that. And then when WWE bought that brand, that sort of became the de facto WWE as well. So, or, you could say, do any of the other things before it became WWE or WWF count, because they're bringing in guys that were wrestling in like TNA or some of these other lower series that had nothing to do with WWE. I feel like if you fell under the NASCAR banner in any way, shape, or form, whether it's O'Reilly, whether it's Busch, whether it's Grand National, whatever it was that you did that carried the NASCAR banner, like Justin Allgaier, right? He's not a full-time Cup Series driver. He's made some Cup Series starts, but I tell you, if he makes it to the Hall of Fame, it's not because of his Cup Series career. It's because of his lower series career. So I don't see anything wrong with that. He definitely deserves to be a Hall of Fame driver because of his career resume.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I think the lower series guys should be in there. And, let's not just go, okay, O'Reilly, we got to find 10 Hall of Famers right now. Like, no, of the drivers currently in there, Justin Allgaier, that's probably the one that's going to go to the Hall of Fame of those guys. The Truck Series, you look at that, a guy like Matt Crafton, a 3-time champion, had a 57-year career in the Truck Series. They haven't even been around that long. He's been driving trucks that long. Like, he belongs in the Hall of Fame because it's the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Now, is he Richard Petty? Well, no, he's not. But JDK made a great point. Is some of the people in the Hockey Hall of Fame Wayne Gretzky? Like, well, no, they're not. But you put him in there. I think, NASCAR is a different than other sports, and we've seen this with the playoff talk and with all the other stuff, right? And I think that those series, yes, you could compare O'Reilly to Division II or AAA baseball, right? But it's not really that. It's definitely different. And if there is a guy that's in Division AAA, sorry, I'm getting divisions and triples. There's a guy in AAA baseball that plays for 20 years, has the records, many starts. He's won a ton of games or hit a ton of home runs or whatever. Maybe he does deserve to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame, which they should start a Baseball Hall of Fame. As far as I know, they don't have a Baseball Hall of Fame because that's a whole other conversation. You look, half these things, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is the Music Hall of Fame. It's not the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's a whole different story. Baseball, they don't even let a lot of their good players in. They condoned the cheating. They let them cheat. They knew they were doing it. It was great for the sport. The sport was better when they let them cheat, but now, they just, flip their nose up to it. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Again, why are we calling these the Hall of Fames? They should be the Hall of Excellence because it shouldn't be about being famous. It should be about being great. There's a lot of things you can nitpick about Hall of Fames. And in general, I'm not a big fan of Hall of Fames. It's unfortunate because the idea of a Hall of Fame is great, but it comes down so much to politics and so much to, baseball, what's it about? Hitting home runs? Now, we don't want the all-time home run leader in there. Like, you let him hit the fucking home run. You knew what he was doing. Put him in the fucking Hall of Fame. He's great. It's just, Pete Rose isn't in the Hall of Fame. Like, but back to the NASCAR part of it. They're under the NASCAR umbrella. And honestly, a guy like Frank Kimmel, who dominated the ARCA series for a long time, even though ARCA wasn't under the NASCAR brand then, it is now. Like, I think a guy like Frank Kimmel deserves to be in the Hall of Fame for what he did in racing for all those years. I think he won 9 ARCA championships. Just every time I watched an ARCA race, which was a lot when I was a kid, he won all of them. Like, he was amazing and dominant in that level. But I think that it goes for all levels, and they should be in the NASCAR Hall of Fame, because, and again, maybe we're a little more picky about the O'Reilly guys we put in than we are about the Cup guys, because yes, they should be extra deserving. But if you're great at that level and that's your thing, I think that they should be included in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, look, it's all subjective anyways, right? Everybody's got their own opinion on who should be, who shouldn't be, what it should be considered.
Yeah. And
that's where this whole debate goes, right? This
right.
is where
and that's why everything is so controversial, because each hall has their own opinions and thoughts. And you look at Bill Belichick not getting in on the first ballot because they wanted to stick it to him. You can't look at him and not say he's at least one of the 2 greatest coaches in history. If you want to give it to Shula, fine, but it's those 2 guys head and above everyone else, and it's not even close. There's no reason he shouldn't get in on the first ballot. There's no reason Derek Jeter shouldn't have been a unanimous first ballot just because, we couldn't possibly. How could we give it to a guy that's completely earned it? That's insane. Like, it's just, the Hall of Fame's drive me nuts.
Yeah, me too. And they drive slow roll nuts too, because this Hall of Fame's are joke anymore. It's not the Hall of Very Good. You say the name, you should not hesitate. You have to think about it. I mean, it's true. When you say Barry Bonds, you think steroids, but you also think of home runs.
He's the all-time leading home run hitter. How is he not in the base? I don't care if he was hitting with an aluminum bat and everybody else had wooden bats. If they let him use an aluminum bat, put him in the fucking Hall of Fame. He's the all-time leader. That's your biggest statistic. It makes
As a Giants fan.
Yeah, I'm not even a Giants fan. You are. But I hated Barry Bonds growing up. Dude's great. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He's the best to ever hit home runs. I don't care what he took to get him there. They let him do it.
I agree. 100% agree. Okay, everybody take a deep breath.
I feel better now that this is off my chest.
Good. All right. Well, I think we'll leave it there, because that could be this is a good conversation we could be having for a good 20, 30, 40 minutes. This is its own episode.
I felt like, we didn't have a lot of news today. We could get it in the opening of the show here. Hope you all enjoyed the banter portion of today's podcast.
There are some that did. There are some that didn't. It's all subjective, just like your Hall of Fame picks. But What's not subjective is the fact that we are going to give you our favorite DFS plays for this Cookout 400 at Martinsville. But before we do that and set up the race, I'll tell you about our friends over at Kalshi. Kalshi is a real money prediction market, legal in a ton of states. Kalshi's got a ton of trading options for all of your favorite sports, up to and including this Cookout 400. We're going to talk about him in just a little bit, but Shane van Gisbergen to finish inside of the top 20. If you believe that he can do that, which I certainly do, the yes is going to be 80 cents. Boy, that just moved as I was giving you this. It used to be actually 78 cents. Now it's 80 cents. So people are hammering this. Get in there. Hurry up quickly. And now that $10 that we're going to give you turns into 13 when Shane van Gisbergen is nestled deep inside of the top 20 at the end of the race. New Kalshi customers, you're going to get that $10 when you use promo code SGPN. That's Kalshi, Kalshi, promo code SGPN. Underdog Fantasy. Underdog's got you covered for pick'em for almost every single sport under the sun. Underdog has just increased their payouts. 2-pick entries now pay 3.5x, and 3-pick entries now pay 6.5x. Looking at the same race that we're looking at, Cookout 400, Bubba Wallace's finishing projection is set at 9.5. Yes, sir. Please give me the better than on this one. It gets you 1.03 times your entry. So Bubba Wallace better than 9.5 to finish in the Cookout 400. And if you're a new customer to Underdog, if you're brand spanking new, play just $5 to get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code RACE, SGPN. All right, so now that we've got the Hall of Fame debate out of our system, let's set up this DFS race here for the Cookout 400 at Martinsville Speedway in Ridgeway, Virginia. We are set for 400 laps around this 0.526 mile paved track for 210.400 miles of hot tempers, hot suits maybe, and definitely hot racing.
Yeah, it's all the above. Short track racing, tempers are going to flare. They're all ready and excited and anxious for a week off next week. Be the only week off this year for the Cup Series. They're trying to get there. Going to be trying to get there in a hurry, and should make for good racing.
I forgot what a week off feels like. I really do. I'm not sure.
No week off for us, Rod. Sorry to break the news to you, but we don't take weeks off here.
No, we do not. We continue to keep giving it to you over and over and over again, whether you like it or not. All right. As we do every DFS episode, we break down our favorite high-price drivers, our favorite mid-tier drivers, and our value drivers. So, Cody, as we begin to do so, who is your favorite high-price driver?
Well, speaking of Hall of Famers, Brad, I think that Joey Logano will find himself in the Hall of Fame. But somebody else that's going to find himself in the Hall of Fame is Denny Hamlin. $11,000 top of the board. Does he deserve to be a Hall of Famer without a championship? I believe TJ Majors was arguing that a few years ago that maybe he wasn't. But we know that Denny Hamlin absolutely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And Denny Hamlin, a guy that I really like going into this weekend. So you come back and you look at what he's done here previously. 35th place finish in the fall. That was during that kind of streak before the championship race where Toyota had the problems. He had a mechanical problem in this race. Briscoe had a mechanical problem in this race. Hopefully they've got those bugs all worked out. It's not, knock on wood, we haven't seen those issues outside of Reddick having every issue under the sun last week, but in a general sense. But you come back to last spring, led 274 laps and won the race. If you can lead 274 or 400 laps and you win, it's a pretty strong DFS day, a guy you absolutely need to have here. He's been top 5 in 5 of the last 7 races here. And on top of leading 274 laps, he's led 156. He's led 203. Some other races with some shorter, 36, 66. Obviously, we're shooting for the 156, the 203, the 274, but that's all in the next gen era that he's led tons of laps here. And then you go back again. So, you can look at these previous Martinsville races, but these weren't with the new package, the 750 horsepower that we're running now. So we've got one place to look at for that when it comes to short tracks. They ran it at Phoenix and Darlington, but going to take less stock out of Darlington because it's much bigger, obviously. But Phoenix, the short track we have been to, Denny ranked 3rd in true performance at Win the Race. Make sure you check them out, wintherace.info. We love those guys. 3rd in true performance ranking over there. 22% of the time he ran inside of the top 3 throughout the day. He was really solid there. And yeah, I'm just going to go right to the top of the board. Start the day off with Denny Hamlin, $11,000. A guy you can trust, guy that typically delivers on a week-to-week basis. A little bit off last week. Not going to hold that against him. I think he'll bounce back this week and have a good run.
Yeah, can't argue with that at all. Obviously, he's synonymous with Martinsville, with short tracks. He's got a gang of grandfather clocks already, and I'm sure he wants to add yet another one to that collection. So, yes, definitely a Denny Hamlin week, in my opinion, as well. Slow Roll is telling me that he's sorry that Jimmy is definitely a Hall of Famer. A no-brainer Hall of Famer. Yeah, most certainly a no-brainer.
Yeah, that's a first ballot. The question about Jimmy is more, is he the greatest of all time? Which you and I are both on the side of that. And I truly think he is the greatest NASCAR driver ever. I know that'll spark some debate maybe, but the time he did it in, it was just a lot harder to do it. They kept changing the system on him. He kept adjusting 5 in a row. Like the run he went on, I think Jimmy's the GOAT.
Well, and not even to mention, like they redid the metrics, they redid everything. Like there was people that were trying to poke holes in it, and every formula they came up with that was in the past, he was still winning the championship anyway. So there was no formula in which he was not winning. So you can keep changing the rules, but he was still winning on the old rules, so it wouldn't have mattered. That's the thing with guys like Earnhardt and Petty didn't have to deal with that. It was the same system. Petty's is, I mean, what Petty did was impressive, winning the 200 races, all this stuff, but yeah, he ran 70 races a year. Like not everybody was running all the races. It was kind of the outlaw days. You could do whatever you wanted to. Like, so yeah, I think that it was a lot harder for Jimmy to do it when he did it. So he's number one in our books. Indeed. Condolences to R. Scott R. Lowell. He had Denny Hamlin was off last week when he had him in his pool. So
yeah, that's unfortunate. That'll happen, but hopefully. Good week this week, I think.
Indeed. Okay, I'm going to turn to the model of consistency for my high-price driver, and that is going to be Chase Elliott, $9,700 for one Chase Elliott in 7 of his last 8 races. On this particular track, he has had a top 10 finish, and he is on a hot streak of 4 in a row inside of the top 5, 3 of those inside of the top 3. So a 3rd place finish in the spring of 2024, 2nd place in the fall, 4th place in the spring of 2025, 3rd in the fall as well. Last fall, he ended up getting you a cool 62.2 fantasy points. Now, unfortunately, he got dwarfed by his teammate William Byron, who got you 165, and Ryan Blaney, who got you 139. But still, 62 points is not bad from Chase Elliott. I know we're going to get a lot of lap leaders and a ton of laps led. And hopefully Chase Elliott returns to form in that, because he did get you 83 laps led in that fall race of 2023, 64 the next race, 129, 42. In total, actually, if you look at the lap leaders here on this track, especially active drivers, Chase Elliott 3rd on the list overall, behind Denny Hamlin with 27.22. Kyle Busch has 14.29, but Chase Elliott right there with 12.75 laps led. His average finish on this track, 11.3. But again, as I said, the 7 of the last 8 have all been inside of the top 10, and a really impressive run of top 5 finishes here over the last few years. And, you know, when you look at Chase Elliott, all things considered, when you're looking at the true performance rankings, 86 in the spring of last year, 81 in the fall, and then 87, 86. It's consistent, right? 85, 86 in the next gen era. He definitely is the most consistent guy that you can think of and if you're telling me that at $9,700, he's got a floor of about 34 points, I may want more, but I mean, that's not counting fast laps. It's not counting laps led. That's just the floor. 34 points is his floor. And what he builds on top of that, you know, whether or not he parlays that into a better finish, maybe a top 5 finish again, 39 points is the floor there. And he just keeps building from there. Chase Elliott is definitely a good building block for a GPP play. I mean, maybe not so much a cash play, but if you know everybody's going to be on Denny, if you think everybody's going to be on Ryan Blaney, which is another hot name I gave out on the betting show, then you could essentially go with Chase Elliott, maybe get a little less points. But if something happens to one of those two guys and everybody, you know, has him, you don't, you're good to go. So I love Chase Elliott, $9,700.
Yeah, love this play as well. Chase Elliott just really, win the race stuff. He really pops off here. He's been really, really solid here. The biggest question, can he get up front and lead some laps? And he's shown in the past that he's been able to, should be able to turn in a pretty solid day for you. So, I like the play.
Indeed. Okay, well then, if we're going to afford those expensive guys, we need a little bit of relief. So who is our mid-tier driver?
As I began to say earlier, future Hall of Famer, Joey Logano. I jumped the gun. I was so excited to talk about Joey Logano. I almost forgot about Denny Hamlin. But Joey Logano, guys, I'm all in. I love him so much this week. $9,000. I think people are going to be so scared of him because I think he's not. My guess, he starts 15th to 20th in the race. And I think that's just going to completely put him out of people's minds. They're going to think about last week, right? I think he just got done finishing the Darlington race just now. So he's on his way to Martinsville finally. Hopefully his trailer is a little faster than the car was last week because he might not make it there. But I love Joey Logano so much this week. Even if he starts, 15th, 20th, whatever it is, he's going to find his way up because he does every single time. 8 for 8 top 10 finishes in the next gen era. 13 top 10 finishes in a row. Joey Logano finds his way forward every time, and it doesn't matter. He started worse. 5 of the last 8, he started at least 12th place or worse. Still, he finds his way into the top 10. That's what Joey does at a track like this. It's just like Kevin Harvick at Phoenix. Finds his way forward. If Joey can get the track position to be out front, Joey will lead laps and put lap sled up. I'm just in love with Joey Logano this week. Third best average finish here over the last 6 races, 6.5 of active drivers. The 8 for 8, 13 in a row, 17 of the last 19 if you want to extend it out farther, 20 of the last 24. 24 races. That's 12 years. That's new car, old car, crew chief changes. Think of the drivers that weren't even born 12 years ago. Brent Cruz wasn't even alive yet. Okay, maybe he was, but he was 5. So, to my point, Joey Logano's been good here for a long fucking time. And then Phoenix, the one place we have to look at. 4th in true performance rank at Win the Race. He led 73 laps for you there. Ran top 3, 76% of the race. Top 5, 83% of the race. Top 10, 96.84% of the race. All that courtesy of Win the Race, of course. But yeah, I'm all in on the Joey Logano train. By the way, if you couldn't stomach the minus 150 top 10 earlier in the week, Fanatics did drop a minus 120 for the top 10. Much better numbers. So I made a trip to the casino today. I got 137, minus 137 right in the middle. So worth it, I think. I don't love how much I love Joey this week, but 13 in a row. It's he's good here. Just you got to trust the process, Rob.
Unfortunately, we had to drop the even year Joey Logano mantra because
this is it. Even year Joey shows up this week.
All right, I like it. I mean, listen, I'm okay. I'm all right. I live and die by this even year.
And
Joey
even
Logano.
if we get odd year Joey Logano at Martinsville,
still good.
Well, he still finishes in the top 10 because that's what he does.
Indeed. All right. I love Joey. Love rolling with Joey this week. I think I even talked about him on the betting episode too. So let's roll with that one. Another guy I talked about on the betting episode, but I can't pass up on DFS because it just feels like a good double dip this week for Bubba Wallace. $8,300 for Bubba. The baby bump is on. Last week, if his boss hadn't taken him out, who knows how much better of a race he would have ended up having. Started on the outside pole. Unfortunately, didn't see the race through after not just getting bounced around by his boss, but he got kind of roughed up a little early in the race, and then his boss finished him off. But for Bubba Wallace, I mean, listen, you want to talk about consistency this season. He's got 4 top 10 finishes and 6 starts this year. 9th place at Vegas, 6th place at Phoenix. And that Phoenix race was impressive. He started 28th and drove all the way up to 6th place. And in Coda, he finished 11th after 24th place start, 8th in Atlanta, 10th at Daytona. On this track in particular, he has the 7th best average finishing in the next gen era here with a 10.9. In the spring race in particular is where he shines. I mean, that's the thing about Bubba Wallace. And we talked about this. There's a short on it as well if you want to go back and watch that. But we talked about Bubba Wallace being good here in the spring. I mean, an 8th place in the fall of last year, 8th place or 18th place rather in the fall, 18th place in the fall of 2024. But in the spring of both of those years, it was 3rd place last year in the spring, 4th place in 2024 in the spring, 9th place in the spring of 2023. The only one in which he didn't get it done was 2022 when he finished 16th. But outside of that, he's been really good here in the spring overall. And he got you 31 points last year in this particular race. He didn't lead any laps, but he had 7 fast laps. But for me, this is just building on the momentum that is Bubba Wallace right now. He's averaging 32.7 fantasy points per race. Again, that average got tanked last week with a 34th place finish. But before that, he had 31 points at Las Vegas, 60.4 the week before that, 45, 49, 61. So some solid DFS days for Bubba Wallace. And, this is the week where Denny doesn't get in his way and he's able to finish the race the way he started. That 23-11 team has speed because Tyler Reddick keeps winning all the races. Bubba Wallace is got the same type of car underneath them, and he's a good teammate and a good driver. And I think he's going to turn it into a nice solid day in Martinsville this week and get you a good solid DFS score as well.
Yeah. I really like Bubba this week. Been really solid here the last couple of springs. I think you laid out the case for him perfectly. 23-11 has all the momentum last week, notwithstanding for him, but that wasn't because he was bad. It was just wrong place, wrong time, and Denny kind of screwed him over there. So that'll happen, but I think he does bounce back this week for a solid week. Another guy going out a little bit earlier in qualifying, so maybe he'll start a little more mid-pack, get you that place differential, which could pay off nicely.
That's when the boss just tanks a deal, right? And just tanks it and brings you down with them. And you can't call him out on it. You can't be like, damn, that was all you. But
you got it all set up. Like, all right, let's go in and close this deal. And then you walk out and you're like, what the hell did you do, man?
Like, I don't know where that came from, but thanks a lot for ruining my bonus. And then boss is like, oh, sorry. It's all right. All right.
But, oh, well.
All right. Well then, Cody, let's dip down to the value drivers and see who we've got in store to save you a little money at the top.
How do you pass up Todd Gilliland at $5,700? I can't do it, Rod, so I'm not going to. I am not going to pass him up. Hashtag Gilly Gang. Todd Gilliland, much like Joey Logano, loves this racetrack. 9th and 10th place finishes last year. If you get a guy at $5,700 that's finishing 9th and 10th place, it's paying off for you. I mean, it almost doesn't matter where they start. That is just such a good return on what you're paying for them. It's amazing. And if you expand it out farther, 3 of the last 5, he's been inside of the top 10. 4 of the last 5, he's been inside of the top 13. 5 of the last 7, he's been inside of the top 13. Again, this isn't he popped up one time in a race and showed good. He has shown at this track in particular, he is very, very good. There are certain guys, you come to certain tracks and you pick. When we get to Richmond, guess who we're going to be talking about? Austin Dillon, because for whatever reason, he's figured out the track, he shows up, and he's good. You have, Darlington. Last week with Eric Jones, we talked about him. There's some places you kind of make a case, but when you go to Darlington, Eric Jones is just good because that's what Eric Jones does. He's good at Darlington. It's his thing. Martinsville, it's Joey Logano, apparently, because he's done it 13 times in a row. But also Todd Gilliland, because for a guy that's one of the cheapest guys on the board at $5,700, 2 top 10s last year with the 9th and 10th place finish. And 5 of the last 7 finishing inside the top 13. Doesn't usually start up near the front, so he'll probably start a little farther back, work his way forward a little bit, get you some place differential points, get you those big finishing points. And for a guy at this cheap of a price, do not overlook Todd Gilliland this week.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit about him too in the betting episode as well, because he definitely is one of those guys where it's a buzz name at this track, and everybody's all over it, and for good reason. So you'll probably likely see his name quite often in it, but there's a reason for that, and you should probably benefit from that as well, especially maybe in cash games where he's probably going to be heavily rostered because of his price and his success here. So
yeah, and sometimes it's one of those things where you look, it's like, kind of everybody's on this. I guess this is a popular dog. Or have we all just figured out, oh shit, he's really fucking good here, so let's play him, and it ends up being the right call, right? I think that's what we're looking at. He's proven he's good here. Other people are realizing, yes, they're not going to jack his price up on DFS because, well, he's still Todd Gilliland. So you get the deal, you take the history because it's been really strong, and you run with it.
Indeed. All right. So in picking my value drivers, I like to sort by fantasy points per race to see if there's anything that I might be missing, because when you start scrolling down, you just look at it, you go, But then if you sort by fantasy points per race and you see something that pops out at you, you have to take a quick stock and a moment to look at it. And I did that with Shane van Gisbergen, who is the 10th highest in terms of fantasy points per race in the series this season. And I mean, look, we talk about him being the road course guy, but he's actually getting a little better here at ovals. Proof positive. A couple of weeks ago, he got you 39.4 points in Las Vegas. He got you 56 points, obviously, on the road course, but 62 points in Atlanta on the drafting track that is Atlanta. So again, the ovals are starting to get a little bit better for Shane van Gisbergen. And in fact, on this track last year, he had the 11th most fantasy points in the fall race, 39.25, started 22nd, finished 14th. And that sort of pairs out to where, you know, he's catching on in this first race here at Martinsville in the fall of 2024. Started 29th and finished 12th in that colleague car in the 16. They gave him a ride in that one. Unfortunately, couldn't get it done in the spring where he pretty much started 33rd, finished 34th. But hey, I mean, listen, he didn't lose you all that many points anyways, and he was probably really cheap at that point. But yeah, SVG has definitely been on one this year in terms of figuring things out. He does have 2 top 10 finishes. Obviously, one of those came at a road course. But the 6th place in Atlanta was pretty good. Yeah, overall, you know, Shane van Gisbergen, say what you will, the price is right for him, $6,000. If he can just start not well and finish better than he starts, he's going to continue to give you value. And I don't think you should miss out, especially if he does get into the top 15 after starting in the mid-20s. That's definitely good value in DFS.
Well, think about back to the Clash, right? And yes, there was weather. Yes, there was some craziness, but SVG looked really good in that race. We saw some tire wear. We saw this. I think did they run the higher horsepower there? I think they did. But either way, this higher horsepower, a little bit more tire weather, maybe. I don't think it's going to be crazy. It's going to be colder here this weekend, but short track, the road course braking, like you talk, like I think SVG is a good play this week. Trackhouse has shown on the bigger tracks, they're going to be hard to trust. I think we're going to have to cool our jets on the top 10s on the mile and a half like we were hoping until they figure some stuff out. But a track like this, a place where SVG should be pretty good, can stand out. So yeah, I like the play.
Fingers crossed, my friends. All right, well then, get out your pen and paper. We're going to recap our DFS picks for this Cookout 400. Cody started you off with Sir Dennis Hamlin at $11,000 as his high-price driver. I gave you Chase Elliott, $9,700 as my high-price driver. Cody could not wait, but dipped down to Joseph Logano at $9,000 as his mid-tier driver. Said Bubba Wallace at $8,300 is mine. Cody's riding with the Gilly gang this year, or this season rather, or this race even. $5,700. He's all in on him.
All the above.
All the above. And then I gave you Shane van Gisbergen at $6,000 as my value driver. Going to talk Indy on the other side of the break, so hang tight as we do so. But let me tell you about our friends over at Rhythm first. Rhythm is your official data tool for dominating the madness of college hoops. A Rhythm-generated bracket went 34-0 in the first 2 rounds, so you know you can count on Rhythm. And Rhythm continues to crush it in college hoops. I don't know what you're waiting for. I honestly can't tell you, but if you're waiting, stop. And if you're looking to go premium, use promo code SGPN25 when you download the Rhythm app for 25% off of your first month. Download Rhythm. Use promo code SGPN25. We are also brought to you by Novig. Novig is America's #1 sports prediction market. With Novig, you're getting the absolute best prices. Talked about it yesterday. Let's talk about it again today. The Vegas Golden Knights taking on the Edmonton Oilers. Novig has got a solid price on those Golden Knights as they're giving you plus 189, minus 1.5. So a goal and a half is a cushion here. They're giving you plus 189. If you want them on the money line, it's minus 131. Not juiced all that much and juiced less than most books out there. Go download the Novig app and get $50 when you spend $5 if you use our promo code SGPN. Get in on the action with Novig promo code SGPN. You would like our merch. We want you to wear our merch. So take 15% off of everything in our merch store with the promo code MARCH. Absolutely love us some Racing Gambling Podcast t-shirts, some hats, whatever it is you want, maybe a coffee mug to sport in the morning, and remind yourself of the first ballot Hall of Fame NASCAR Gambling Podcast in the Podcast Hall of Fame. So make sure you get that. Use promo code MARCH. Take 15% off. Thank me later.
Love it, Rod. Slow roll checking in says, Cody, I see what you're doing. Growing out your fear of the beard for your team. Damn, I know my Hawks are doomed. My Nebraska Cornhuskers first ever Sweet 16 appearance this evening. They're going to be taking on arch enemy, our rivals, the Iowa Hawkeyes, with their dirty, nasty corn. And yeah, hopefully we'll be taking them down and moving on to our first ever Elite Eight. And then, hey, once you get there, you never know what could happen.
All I want is street corn now. That's what I'm craving. So thanks, Cody. Thanks for that.
You're welcome. Glad I could help.
Nebraska street corn.
Much better than
right.
I was.
We'll turn our attention now, like I said, to the IndyCar series, the NTT IndyCar series, as they head to Birmingham, Alabama for the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix on the Barber Motorsports Park. We're set for 90 laps around this 2.3 mile permanent road course, 17 turns, 207 miles. Elevation changes, twists, turns, spins, roller coaster, loop-de-loops, you name it, this track's got it. And it looks like a guitar capo, by the way. That's just what I'm thinking. So.
Very nice. Yes. Yeah, this is an exciting one. It's fast, a lot of wide sweeping stuff, a lot of speed. This tends to be, I'll be honest with you, more of a little bit of a boring quote unquote race where it's a little more just like kind of like we think Martinsville's going to be, where it kind of ends up chalky. But when it comes to betting, that's sometimes is better because it makes it more predictable. So I like that. Really, between all of my bets, I only have two guys on my card, Rod, because these are the two guys I love going into the weekend. I'm going to ride with them. We'll see what practice and qualifying looks like, obviously. But yeah, I'm excited for this one. This is the first road course of the season for IndyCar. They started the year with St. Pete, of course, with the Truck Series. That's a street course. Then they went to Phoenix with the Cup Series and ran the oval there. Last week, or was that 2 weeks ago, I guess, was the Arlington Grand Prix. Of course, that was another street course for the first time. But yeah, this is the first true road course where it's a built road course that's been there for years, and they've been coming here. So looking forward to it.
And I'm sure they are too, because after all of the craziness that's been, I know they really enjoyed Arlington. That was something that I think most drivers said that they loved, but it's nice to get back into familiar territory and back.
Well, especially, two tracks you haven't been to. In Phoenix, they hadn't been there since 2018. The track had changed. Like 1 and 2 used to be 3 and 4. It's completely different essentially. And it's been a long time. A lot of the guys hadn't been there. Last week for Arlington, yeah, they'll probably go back next year, and they're looking at making that a multi-year deal. But that was brand new. Nobody had ever been on that track. So now you get to a place where, okay, we can relax a little bit. We've been here. We know what to do. So I think that a lot of the drivers probably looking forward to that, being able to fall back into the groove.
Indeed. All right. Well, then, Cody, let's begin that betting card for this race as we break down the IndyCar Series race in Alabama.
Yeah, there's one driver I think of when I think of Barber, and it is Scotty Mack. Scott McLaughlin, really, really good at this track. I'm going to take his Podium, plus 180 over on Caesars. Nice and simple. Go finish inside of the top 3. I think he will easily do that. He started the season off pretty good. St. Pete, he goes out, runs second place there after sitting on the pole. Alex Palou is Alex Palou, and that'll happen. But otherwise, he was right there. He was the next best car on the day. Ran good. Second place finish. That's on the podium. Great. Last week, really fast in practice, or last race, really fast in practice. Looked good at Arlington. Unfortunately, wrecked in qualifying. I start near the back. 25th to 11th, though. He found his way forward, had a good run, and had he not had to start so far back, I think it would have been a much better run for him. So I like the way that Scotty Mack has started the season. Penske's looked a lot stronger through 3 races, knock on wood, than they're horrible last year. But last year, even in this horrible season, podium finish for Scotty Mack. He finished in 3rd place, won this race in 24, won this race in 23. He's been really good at this track. He loves this place. Maybe it's a Palou day. Much less concerned about Kirkwood this week. Hopefully you don't have any Kirkwood good. There's Bet365 is really trying to get you. They got Kirkwood at like plus 255 against Palou. And Kirkwood is just not as good on the road courses. So, but yeah, I love Scotty Mack. I think that he'll find his way to the podium at the least. Plus 180, I think, is a great number for the guy who's the best on this track, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's hard to get away from it, because when you see his name, it's pretty much at the top of all the charts of this track. And like you said, it's just a couple of names float to the top, and it's hard to ignore them. And the price is right for these guys. They actually aren't priced out of a good bet on them. So I like Scotty Mack, definitely. All right, I'm going to take Christian Lundgaard, your guy. I'm going to continue to ride him. He did well for us, I think, a couple weeks ago. We're going to continue to sort of ride that momentum, and I'm going to take him to win Group B over on Hard Rock. That is Pato Award, Scott Dixon, and David Malukas. This is a tough group for Lundgaard to actually win. He didn't win this group last week, or last time out in Arlington, if we're going to be perfectly honest. In fact, it was Award finishing, Malukas finishing, and all three of them finished ahead of Christian Lundgaard, to be completely honest with you. But of course, that was a brand new track. Not a lot of people were comfortable on this track. But Lundgaard rather, on this track, 3 straight top 10 finishes, a 6th place in 2023, a 6th place in 2024, and then a 2nd place in that Arrow McLaren 7 in 2025. And to me, we're just sort of continuing that same thought process. He had a 3rd place start the season at St. Petersburg, had a little trouble in Phoenix, but that's an oval. You can't necessarily hold that against Lundgaard. And then a 7th place finish at Arlington last week. So even though he lost the group last week, he still finished in 7th place. And when you're telling me that, Lundgaard has been as good as he's been, hard to beat runner-up unless you win the race. And none of the guys have done this in the last 3 seasons, I guess. Pato O'Ward did win this in 2022, but outside of that, 4th place in 2023, 23rd in 2024, and 6th place in 2025. Malukas, you can sort of take with a grain of salt because he obviously wasn't driving that same 12 car that he's driving now. But a 20th place in 2022, a 19th place in 2023, 16th place in 2025. We've seen a market improvement in his driving since he's driving the 12, but still feel like this is an opportunity for Lundgaard to sort of claim back what he lost last week in Arlington and to get a nice little finish. So I want him to win Group B. That's plus 125 over on Hard Rock over Award, Dixon, and Malukas.
Yeah, love this play. I love Christian Lundgaard, as you know. I'm not going to turn down any bets on him, so I will ride with you there. The other guy I really like in this race is Pato O'Ward, plus 325 to get his podium finish over on Bet365. Pato's a guy. He's quick. I was listening to my buddy F1 Capper. Make sure you check out the Apex Insiders podcast. They've got some IndyCar talk over there, along with F1. They really know their shit. I mean, I feel like we know our shit, but they really know their shit. They're open wheel guys more than anything. So give those guys a listen because they are knowledgeable and help out a ton. I love listening to their stuff. But they were talking about probably going to be a Chevy heavy weekend. The Hondas might struggle a little bit with the open speed of this track, which I like because Scotty Mac drives a Chevy. Pato O'Ward drives a Chevy, so we're looking good, right? But Pato O'Ward, he started the season off great. 5th place finish at St. Pete to open the year, 4th at Phoenix, 5th place at Arlington. So it's been a good start. You go back and you look at some of the road courses last year, 2nd at the Indianapolis road course, 2nd at the Thermal Club. So he's got the speed and he looks good on the road courses as well. Again, if you differentiate the road courses from the street courses, which I think in a general sense you should. And here, it's been pretty solid. 6th place last year, 4th in 23. He won here back in 2022 and 4th place again in 2021. He's kind of continued that climb. He's the top guy at McLaren now. He's doing his thing. This is a good race car team. I think they're going to be good at more than 3-1 at plus 325 for him to just grace that podium. Again, I think Scotty Mac's going to be there. Good chance Palou is because he's Palou, right? But if he can grab that 3rd position, or maybe he gets there and a Scotty Mac doesn't, plus 325, I think that it's more than worth it. So love Pato O'Ward to grace the podium at plus 325 on Bet365.
Yeah, and for as much as I do think Lundgaard can beat him in this race, Pato and that team, they can play strategy really well, and they can feel out what the winning strategy is going to be at the very beginning of that race, and you've seen him pretty much carry it all throughout the race. So I do like this, even though, like I said, I think Lundgaard can get it done.
Maybe we get the Scotty Mac win. Lundgaard is 2nd, Pato's 3rd, and we hit all these bets, Rod.
That'd be fantastic. Although that would make my willpower podium at 4-1.
Well,
a moot
you have to
point.
sacrifice something somewhere, Rod. Okay.
Okay. Well, but listen, I really do think, and now we know that willpower is back, baby. He got a 3rd place finish last week, or last race rather, in Arlington. So let's put him back on the podium at 4-1. The problem was he had to get acquainted, much like Chase Briscoe had to get acquainted with a different ride. So did willpower. That 26 car was sort of sitting there with him thinking, well, I don't know what's going on, but now he does. He got 3rd place last week in Arlington, and he's heading to a track in which he has been lights out over the last few seasons, especially a runner-up finish in 2021, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 5th. He has been sniffing around, if not on top of one of the steps of the podiums over the last 5 seasons. And I mean, he's too good of a driver to keep him down for too much longer, right? And this track especially, he knows it. He knows it well. I think he's got enough speed. He proved it last week in Arlington that he can find his way back to the podium. And at 4-1, I know that the books are probably giving him the benefit of the doubt because of the fact that he's with the new team, but I think they're kind of ignoring past track history and recency bias of being third place last week on a course he knew nothing about. Now put him on a road course that he knows something about. I think we are in for a hell of a run out of Will Power. I think that team obviously does know how to play the strategy correct too. And I think they're going to be able to get him on the podium again for a second straight week.
Yeah, I don't mind this at all. The Honda speed maybe will be the part that concerns me a little bit, but Herta was good here last year, started in third, fell back to seventh in the race, but that car was good. Obviously, you laid out the case that Will's been good here. You get a good number of 4-1, so I like it. We're going to make the outrights real easy for you. I've given out 2 guys, and these are the guys I'm taking outrights. Scotty Mack, you can get him at 6-1 on Bet365. Do not wait on this. He is lower than 4-1 in some other places. I think he was lower than this on 365 before, but just before the show when I was looking, he's up to 6-1. So jump on it, take it. Absolutely love this price. He's won 2 of the last 3 races on the podium last year. Started the season off with a lot of speed. He's looked good. Hopefully Penske is back to Penske levels of things. Love this. He's got Mr. Cindric atop the box as the strategist there. Like, that's a great pairing. I love all that stuff. So give me Scotty Mack at 6-1. I think this is an amazing number. And the Pato Award is 10-1 on Bet365. Also, again, they seem to have better numbers for a lot of these outrights than other places because I've seen Pato as low as 750 in some other books. So, like we always tell you, especially in racing, shop around because it's important. But if you have access to 365, best numbers on these guys, Pato Award, you can get him 10-1 on Bet365. And again, I already laid out the case for both these guys, so I'm not going to rehash. But these are my 2 horses coming into this weekend.
Yeah, again, not bad horses to back, especially at the prices that they're at. And for me, I mean, I know that it is absolutely gross to try to take a favorite sometimes, but when we're talking plus money for a guy like Alex Palou, plus 120, I think you have to have some piece of that, because if you don't and he wins and you're pissed that he beat you, then that's on you for not betting him. He did win here last year, was a start on the pole, ended up winning the race, led 81 of 90 laps. He dominated this race. He's led laps in 4 of the 5. That's not good. That just means that he was at the right place at the right time 81 times. The last of which was the last lap.
That's pretty good.
But he coupled that with a win. He won here the first time he was ever on this track, right? Back in 2021. Turned to third place, start into a first place finish. Second place on top of that, and a couple of fifth place finishes to go along with it. I mean, look, he's not the points leader right now. I'm sure that is gnawing at him. He's been the points leader for the last 16 years, and I think he just got knocked off a couple of weeks ago. So, like, he's looking to get back up there, right? He's a little pissed off that he's not the points leader anymore, and he's in the right spot at the right place at the right time to get it done again. And if you've watched IndyCar for 5 minutes, you know that Alex Palou is the class of the field, and it just. He's gonna get back to the top again at some point. He's had a week off, much like these F1 guys. He's had a week off to sit there and think about what he's done, sit in the corner and think about why he did not get it done last week. And so, yeah, I mean, we've seen what's crazy about it is that we've seen several, I think a different winner every week, right? And so this has been sort of a crazy little IndyCar season, and I think Palou wants to restore order and win another race. And at plus 120. It could be minus 200, right? Let's look at it that way, right? You could be trying to pay minus 200 for an Alex Palou win. And maybe if he does win this next week, you are at minus 200. So get it now while it's a plus money and don't look back.
Yeah, could absolutely be. So, yeah, it's hard to argue against Alex Palou. I mean, he is the best driver in IndyCar. He's very dominant. So I think Scotty Mack's got something for him this week. I think that Palou could put himself in position, or Palou, obviously. I think Pato could put himself in position, but I think Palou is the guy to beat and should be the best car out there this weekend.
I think everybody's got something for Palou this season, and that's the exciting part of it. He's not running away with this in every single week and every single lap. Like they're really
how I want it to be. Yeah, that's how I want it to be. It's you like having people that can compete. I mean, we saw him at Arlington get run down by Kirkwood and passed and beaten, which is not something we've seen really hardly at all, where he just, he would lose races, but it was because something else happened, maybe just didn't have the best day, whatever. But somebody just running him down and being better than him was not something we're accustomed to over the last couple of years, and it's good to see. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of what you hope for is the parity at the top. So we love it.
We love it. All right, get out your pen and paper. We're going to recap our bets for this race, this IndyCar race in Alabama. Cody started you off with Scotty Mack on the podium at plus 180 over on Caesars. I said that Christian Lundgaard would win Group B over Pato Award, Scott Dixon and David Malukas over there on Hard Rock at plus 125. Cody's putting Pato on the podium at plus 325. That's over at Bet 365. I'm putting Power on the podium, bringing Power back to the podium at 4-1 over on Hard Rock. Cody's taking Scotty Mack at 6-1 on 365 and Palou at 10-1 on 365 for his outrights. It's Pato. Jesus, there's too many P names. Scotty Mack and Pato. I am taking Palou at plus 120 for Hard Rock. Let's get out of here, Cody.
Too many P names. That's a great way to end the week, Rod. Yeah, let's get out of here. If you haven't, go back. Tuesday, we had the Cup Series Picks show, of course, for Martinsville. You can get all of our bets for that. Yesterday, we talked O'Reilly Series. Tossing some F1 plays for the Japanese Grand Prix. Practice for that starts this evening, coming up here in just a couple of hours. So get those bets in. Don't wait. And then, of course, talked on the DFS stuff today, along with IndyCar. So another great, fun weekend of racing. Looking forward to it, and we will be back for the recap show, like usual. And, of course, full week of shows next week. Even though the Cup Series is off, plenty of racing to talk about. Looking forward to it. Can't wait. All right, Rod. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Follow me over on the X. At @Zeeb. You can find all my stuff there. Follow the show at NASCAR Gambling. If you like what we do here, hit that subscribe button, hit the like, leave a 5-star rating, whatever your platform allows you to do. We appreciate it. Helps us out. Good luck this weekend.
Good luck this weekend, indeed. Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez, where I screamed at the Giants for a while until I'm done. And, retweeting some good information from our friends at iFantasy Race, Win the Race, and all that other good stuff. So follow me there. I'll wave back. Next week, we're back with another fun week. I know the Cup Series are off, but we are not. We will be bringing you the races that matter and, of course, just breaking it all down and recapping the weekend that was as well. See you then. Thank you, as always, for joining us on our never-ending quest to make NASCAR betting fun again. Let's go racing and let it ride.